Hello, Tribute Band Central. Welcome to the channel. Have another installment of my interview series, The Makers of the Music. And I am honored to have Rod Gunther with me. He is with Tattoo You, the Rolling Stones tribute band. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today, Rod. How are you doing?
Doing great. My pleasure, and thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Very welcome. So let's talk about Tattoo You. I interview a lot of bands, and some of the tributes, I'm a casual fan, and some of them I'm an intense fan. And you guys are a lot closer to the intense fan than the casual fan. So let's talk about what you do in the Rolling Stones.
Glad to hear that. I'm an intense fan as well. Well, we started this band about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, I should probably give you a little bit of a backstory. I started an Allman Brothers tribute band in 2013.
Okay.
So we're coming into our 13th year. 5 years later, I started a band called Harvest Moon, which began as a Neil Young tribute, but kind of morphed into a CSNY/Neil. Started that band in 2018. And then a couple of years ago, I finally got to my personal favorite band, which is the Stones. And that backstory, because there are some members that are in one or two of the bands. Myself on guitar and the keyboard player are in all three. Henry Davis on keys. Um, but I saw a niche for a Stones band. I know there's a lot of them out there in the country, but there currently wasn't one in Georgia that I'm aware of. So I'd been thinking about it for a while, and it seemed like the right time.
Awesome. Awesome. So on Tattoo You, the members, how many people are in the group and that kind of thing?
We have a seven piece band.
Okay.
Myself on guitar, Henry, as I mentioned, on keyboards, Wade Carricker, who is also in Harvest Moon, on guitar and lead vocals, Meg Scalise-Steinen, who is also in Harvest Moon, also in Interstellar Echoes, if there's some Pink
Uh,
Floyd followers out there.
oh, yep, I know
Uh,
them well.
she's doing the female vocal parts and some lead parts as well, and killing it. Couple of new members. Mitch Flanders on drums. Two new members within the last few months, Dana McCartney on bass, who plays in the Linda Ronstadt tribute, and Darren Nuffer, who just joined on sax. So that's
Outstanding.
what we've got, and it's a really solid band.
Outstanding. Outstanding. So let's talk a little bit about your musical background. Have you been in music your whole life? How did you start? Is this kind of a side gig or fill me in?
Um, Well, see if I can capsulize this without taking 5 minutes. Uh, I started playing guitar when I was very young, about 12 years old. That was a long time ago. And played in bands in my high school years and all that. I have a story that many people have the exact same story. Finally decided I'd have to get a job, and it turned out to be like a 35-year career working in the music business, not the fun part, sales and marketing, but still connected and stayed connected to music through that. Worked for a bunch of record companies. Um, Finally retired about 15 years ago, and young retirement, by the way. Uh, I'm not 90. And said, you know what, if I don't start playing in a band again, I'm never going to do it. I've got to do it now. And that was about 15 years ago. So I started the Allman Brothers thing, and then it just kind of rolled on from there.
Outstanding, outstanding. You're right. I do hear that from a lot of people. They in tribute bands, they'd had a career and either were able to do some early retirement or partial retirement and have jumped back into it because of the music just draws them back in.
Yeah, yeah.
That,
It's several of the people in Tattoo You are in their 30s and still obviously have day jobs, and I don't know how they do it. I couldn't have done it when I was working, at the pace that I was working at, but everybody loves doing it. It takes up almost every weekend of our life, but we're doing what we love and having fun.
Outstanding, outstanding. Do you do any original music? Are you do any write any music on your own at all?
We do not. Some of the members have nothing that I've ever been a part of, of playing. I'd like to someday, but I'm pretty happy playing the music that I grew up with and that I love. So we'll see if it ever evolves into that.
Understood, understood. So let's talk about the Stones. So what's your favorite one, two, or even three songs to play? What really gets you going when you're on stage?
That's a tough question for any of my three bands. I often say one of two things. Either the most recent song we've learned is kind of the most fun,
Yeah.
or whatever the crowd reacts to the best is my favorite at that moment. Um, Sometimes it's a deep cut, like I wouldn't say Midnight Ramblers are a real deep cut, but it's probably not in the top 30 of songs Stones fans would name. The casual fans, I guess. That's a fun one. Meg kills it on Gimme Shelter. That's always a highlight.
Yeah.
Uh, I bought a very cool old vintage choral sitar guitar that I play on Painted Black. So
Oh,
I
wow.
I always look forward to that one. When you carry a guitar around just for one song, you better enjoy it. So I don't know. There's that's the thing I love about the Stones is um, it's almost impossible to make a 90-minute set list because
It
you
it
end up just playing the hits, and we want to play. We know over 50 songs at this point, and we're adding all the time. And you want to play a lot of the deep cuts too, but then somebody leaves at the end of the night and says, "I can't believe they didn't play Start Me Up" or whatever, like, well, we played 15 other hits. But
I I hear you.
it,
When you're dealing with a band like the Stones, you're right. It's
yeah,
there's just no way to cover even close in a 90-minute set.
no,
And you're right. As from the audience perspective, obviously you go to a concert and there's a particular song always in your mind you want to hear. And
right.
if you don't hear it, you've and to me, and I talk to the bands afterwards, or I always wait around and try to say hello. But even I understand you can't play every song. I would never ever say to you, hey, I regret you didn't play that. But I can understand some people would say that, and it puts you in a tough spot.
Yeah, and I've seen the Stones over 50 times, and I know they have kind of a formula. You're going to get 7 or 8 songs every show, no matter what, and then they mix it up a little bit. Um, but what I love is when I hear from a fan like, "Hey, do you play?" Like somebody just recently sent me a message on Facebook and said, "Do you guys do Play with Fire?" Which is, a very old song, but a really cool song. And we do, but we don't play it very often because you get 7 people that go at the end. But I said, "You remind me a week before the show, and we'll put it in the set list. Why not?" So we do stuff like that. I've done it with Harvest Moon as well. Had a kind of super fan that said, "Please play Pocahontas." I'd never even heard Pocahontas, but I looked it up. It was a cool little song. We learned it and we played it at that show for him. So, um, you know, that's
That
always fun too.
Yeah, that's another reason why I'm so intrigued with tribute bands. That kind of relationship with your fans and being able to reach out and throw out a deep cut or a fairly obscure song and you stepping up and saying, "Hey, we're going to play it. You're going to be at the show. We'll do it." That's incredible. That's
Yeah,
why I love this. It really is.
cool. I feel the same way. There's a lot of tribute band haters out there, and
I,
I'm like, you know what? It's kind of like you're not in my tribe. It's okay. We have plenty of people that love what we're doing and they just come to enjoy the music. And
it
I'm
is.
playing. People ask me what kind of music I play. I always say age appropriate. So people are coming to relive the music that they grew up with, heard in high school, college, whatever, got married to, and that I'm having fun, they're having fun. If you think it's a stupid concept, well, go to a different show.
Well, I'm with you. That and my philosophy too is going to a tribute band. It it just brings, there's always some memory that I haven't thought of for a long time that some song will just pop in. And there's no
Right.
other way that I would have remembered that other than the song. And that's what another special feeling that you get. And honestly, I don't want to drive into Atlanta, go to a stadium, drop a lot of money to see a name band and fight in the track. I'm getting up there. I'd much rather a small venue, hear the songs, the memories, and so that's my philosophy too.
Uh, I'm with you. I mean, I've been to probably thousands of concerts in my lifetime. I was fortunate working in the music business to get a lot of
Oh,
free tickets, and
yeah.
free makes everything easier.
Yes.
But I'm going to be 67 this year. I've already seen everyone probably multiple times that I care about seeing, and I'm not gonna drop $600 on a pair of tickets I'd still do it for the Stones, but I'm not doing it for too many other people anymore.
Fair
Although I did
enough.
go to Madison Square Garden last month for that Allman Brothers reunion show, and
Outs-
that was pretty special.
Outstanding, outstanding. And that leads right into I was going to ask you if you've seen the Stones live. You said over 50 times.
Yeah.
I was going to morph that into have you had the chance to meet any of the band members?
By virtue of me working for a record company, they weren't on my label, but I was very good friends with the person whose label they were on. And they do small, very small meet and greets, at least on a couple of the tours. And I got to be in that photo at two different shows. So they all came in, well, at least, Keith, Mick, Ronnie, Charlie, and the bass player did not come in, but we got those four. And it was just amazing just being in the room with them. Um, at the first time that happened, I was just kind of like, ah, my God. And at the end, Keith looked over at me and said, "Have a good show." And I thought, I think that's your job, but but I'm sure I will. Uh,
Very
so
cool.
yeah,
Very
yeah, that was a very memorable moment. But I've seen them in a lot of really cool places. I've seen them in Vegas several times, New York a bunch of times. I was at the Beacon Halloween show they did that Scorsese filmed.
wow.
That was a tough ticket to get. Flew to San Juan, Puerto Rico to see them once. So
You are a
they're my
big time
boys.
fan. You are. Awesome. Awesome. I have only seen them once. It was on the Steel Wheels tour.
Right?
I saw them it was a stadium in Ames, Iowa,
Wow.
and it was sold out. I think the stadium there, 55,000. And, Iowa, if you've never, it's pretty flat, and you could hear them 7 miles away. Yeah, that was the thing. And I always remember Honky Tonk Women. They
Yeah.
had these two inflatable girls.
Dancing girls. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that
would be
came up.
good. Woo.
Yeah, and they must have been, 3, 4 stories tall, if not taller.
Yeah.
It was amazing. That's the memory that I remember of that concert, and it was something I've never forgotten it.
Nice. Yeah.
So, cool, cool. Well, let's plug some upcoming shows. We've got one coming right up very soon. It is, let's see, Sunday, July 13th, a
Yep.
matinee at 4 p.m. For my listeners, I am going to be there. And like I always tell you, if you're there, come up, say hello. I'll put you on camera. We'd love to have you on the channel. And I'm really excited about that show. What other events do you have coming up?
Yeah, that shows at Mad Life in Woodstock. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see. I've got a list so I can remember.
Great, great.
Um, we'll be in the Tybee Post Theater in Tybee Island
Cool.
on August 14th. We'll do another local show at Napoleon's here in Decatur on August 24th. Yeah. Blue Ridge Theater up in Blue Ridge, Georgia on August 30th. Visualite Theater in Charlotte on November 1st, Buford Community Center on November 14th, Griffin Opera House on November 21st, and then one of my favorite gigs, Northside Tavern in Atlanta,
Okay.
because we play from 10 to 2 a.m. So we get to play all 50 songs.
All right.
That's Northside Tavern. It's July 26th and also December 5th. And then
Okay.
we got a bunch of things, some other things will fill in this year, and we've already got some dates for next year as well. But
Outstanding, outstanding.
yeah,
I'm glad that that the calendar's pretty full for you. And yeah, I for my listeners, I will put links in the comments below that will have to their website, so you don't have to write anything down. You can check out those shows and get your tickets and go to them because they'll be good. And definitely that Northside Tavern. That'd be. I'm gonna try to go to that one. I'd love to hear all your stuff. So.
it's a lot of fun. It's a dive bar, but it's our dive bar.
Outstanding, outstanding. Well, I always ask everyone one question at the end, and you've kind of answered it, but I'm going to give you a little time to elaborate. So, do you attend tribute bands in your off time?
I have seen quite a few. I'm a big fan of the Pink Floyd guys, Interstellar Echoes.
Yes.
Um, Seen them a few times. Every now and then something pops up that like I really wanted to see this David Bowie tribute that was at the Avon Theater a couple weeks ago, but we were out of town. So I'm going to keep my eye out for them. Um, I mean, I'm playing almost every weekend with one of my bands, like
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday. So. There's no, I often miss opportunities that I'd like to go see somebody. But yeah, I like to check them out, see what they're doing and enjoy the music.
Outstanding, outstanding. Well, thank you again for coming on the channel. I know you're busy and we really appreciate it. And we'll be looking forward to some of your upcoming shows. For my audience, be sure to like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions for me or for Rod, leave them in the comments and I will make sure that I get them answered or we'll get them to the band. And again, thank you so much. You have a great day, okay?
Thank you. Appreciate this, Harold. Thank you.
All right. Tribute Band Central. Take care, everybody.